about it later.
Oh, shoot. Man, I'd love to get something more conventional next week. This is a lot of frustrating hours translating to French and figure out what the heck was going on.
How about that computer club?
Yeah.
Did you even attempt to beat Terry's score on Burger Time?
Boat made me play Burger Time a couple times, but I was in sleepy time by the time like I say, he's like, come over here and you can take on Chad's scores. I was like, man, my hand, look at, I mean, because I'm working on those computers, my hands are absolutely shot. You know.
Wear gloves.
What if we got any?
We do have user reviews.
I was gonna say the next person that says that I'm gonna punch with a glove. I'm gonna do a glove slap.
You could challenge him to a duel.
That's right.
This is a great pose for you, Aaron.
Yeah, that sums her up right there. Hey, Graham, always
in there with a review.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Graham. This game is. Well, we'll get into it.
Hey, Colton. 4-1-9.
Mm-hmm.
Think those are gangs? Are those gang numbers? I'm gonna guess gang numbers.
You know that we're so cool. We're so close to having cool stuff in the ceiling. We're dangerously close. That box has the key to our success. Unfortunately, there's no ladder.
Well, that's the key to our success.
So at some point in the next couple of days,
failure.
we're gonna go get this ladder, this mythical ladder. It's funny because I walked out the door last week after all that struggling, and I looked across, and my neighbor has one of those ladders sitting on top of that camper. I was like, I'm not gonna go get that. It ain't worth it.
Get shot.
I'm not gonna ask him. I'm on good terms with the guy.
A reference to RVD. There you go. This guy's right up your alley.
Mm-hmm. I was one of the first people that knew about RVD.
Oh, RVD, we know. We're actually pretty big fans ourselves. His early stuff was great.
I've got an autographed picture of RVD that I ordered from, and I also got a highlight reel of his tape. So one of my favorite matches is an indie match between him and the Disco Inferno.
Oh, that's way back then.
That's before Disco Inferno was discovered. You know, it was.
It was before he was. It before he was Disco Inferno?
I don't remember what his exact name was. And Rob Van Dam used to be a job guy on WCW. And that was Robbie V. I think was his name. So I thought to myself, why is this guy jobbing? And ECW clearly were like, yeah, get in here.
Yeah, he was. Well, I mean, would you say that RVD worked his way up?
RVD was
because, like you said, he started
talented
as a jobber.
Well, I mean, he was a jobber at WCW, but he shouldn't have jobbed anywhere. They were just idiots. This is like the late '90s where they were out of their minds, you know.
Rob Van Dam versus Jerry Lynn,
90s.
Classic match.
Yeah, it was. That was his number one rival. Jerry Lynn's the guy. He was around forever before everybody knew who he was.
What's RVD doing now?
He's still working occasionally.
Just doing indie pop-ups?
Yeah. The WWF brought him back for a run a couple years ago. I mean, he's popular.
ZZZ.
Wow, were they boring?
ZZZU. Hey, how's everything going? It is going well.
It is well. That's my Brent voice. I am well.
What? Also, why were you guys making further away I say doggy?
Dog. Don't look at me, man.
Oh,
you've got some verbal issues.
Well, duh.
And the thing is, they're not issues. It's you enunciate things in a very I don't know how to describe it.
You wanted to see anger?
No.
You want to see?
I don't want to see
pure
anger.
Rage?
No, I don't want that.
When we play on Saturday mornings, because we play. I got a group of friends that we play for Saturday.
That's stunning in itself.
I say melee. Things are in melee range.
It's melee.
Well, I say melee.
So you say it wrong.
Okay.
It's like when Jerry used to pronounce stuff back in the day. Obfuscate and Palladian instead of Paladin.
Okay, Palladian's a little tough.
Well, I'm just saying.
I don't know what Palladian is.
You had to learn to speak the language. I love Jerry, but he knows. He would pronounce stuff that way. And
I've always said melee. So they jump my case every single time. And it's not like they let it go. It just perpetuates for days. The getting on my case.
Look at this little. See this wrestler right here. So if you look on the screen, he's the only one that's you can occasionally see through him. If I do.
I was gonna say, please don't do that.
That's ratings right there.
Oh yeah, ratings poison.
This should be a short but sweet episode. I think.
Seen the games Bit Beam Cannon are working on, Aaron?
Have I seen what now?
Seen the games Bit Beam Cannon?
What is it?
I don't know. He's Colin's asking.
I haven't seen it. Sorry, I'm eating on thing here with pre-show food.
Let me do a quick switcheroo here. Google, what are you doing to me? I'll be right back, chat.
Where are you going?
Switching accounts.
I felt bad for Bo. I think with all that work you put in and that stupid stream. And I told him, like, he was okay with it, but I mean, it's like, it's frustrating. I know how frustrated we got, but still get about it. Can't these idiots get anything right?
Well, I think the answer to that is clear.
No, they can't. Well, the answer is clear. It's just aggravating. Hey, did you play the little EXEs of these games?
Yeah, they were great.
Yeah, that is it's just much like the company stuff with the Amiga. That was awesome. I was very pleased with that.
Yeah, we'll check into that. What are they? Can you get a URL for us or anything, Colin? Oh, it's a multi-release title, Aaron, but it's also coming out for the Amiga.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we will certainly take a peek at that. Bit Beam Cannon. You know what? I'll take a look right now.
One thing I haven't been able to do is find sales numbers for the MO5.
Have
you seen any?
No, information is limited.
Yeah, it is. I looked a ton.
Oh, check this out, Aaron.
Oh, Metro Siege? You said Bit Beam something?
That Bit Beam Cannon is the company.
I do know about this. Oh man, it looks really good. Yeah, it's not finished yet.
Oh, that is the wall. They're not gonna get that kind of smoothness out of the Amiga.
Oh yeah, they are. What is it with you and Boat? The Amiga, it's Mr. Freaking Smooth. It's Billy D. Williams smooth.
Dude, that's a lot of sprites.
Listen, has anyone played Lionheart on this thing? Has everybody lost their mind?
Lionheart doesn't have 5 sprites, 5 huge sprites.
It does. It's got everything all the time. My God.
That looks awesome.
Yeah, it does.
I wonder when that is coming out.
You guys are all crazy.
Information is limited.
I think it's coming out next year. Amiga Bill had debuted this thing. Bill's getting all the scoops. He's making all the scenes. He's the chart master. I saw this German top movers and shakers in the Amiga community. It's like a bunch of German guys. There's a few guys I heard of, and then there's Bill. He's infiltrated the German community. He's everywhere.
Where did you guys rank?
We did not rank on it. We did not. It's funny. I don't know if you ever get on Indie Retro News. The guy was, and I think this thing is in reference to some kind of convention that they're having. So I don't think this is some kind of indictment of who is or is not a mover and shaker in the Amiga community. But the Indie Retro News guy got got angry. He's like, "How am I not on this list?" Which, if there was a list of movers and shakers, he would probably be on it. He breaks a lot of stories, so he just made his own list, and having votes, and we are on that. So we did make the Indie Retro News list. In fact, he would put stuff on there I know for a fact he doesn't like. Like there's some other websites, but he still listed them. You know, so but I mean, I don't think there's any reason to get mad.
Yeah, Colin, we'll keep an eye out on that.
No kidding.
Looks incredible. I hope it has that smoothness and
Amiga Bill played it, so it does have that on an Amiga. Yeah, well, it's there.
I'm for it. I ain't against it.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I can't.
Paper card.
I still can't find sales numbers on this, so I'm just gonna make some up. Let's say it sold 10 million.
Why stop there?
Can we do that? We're not movers and shakers. No one gets the credit what we do. We're layers stillers.
Maybe that will get us ahead in the Thomson MO5. They found sales number and they're incredible.
10 billion. Everyone in France has one of these darn things.
I'm pretty sure they're still produced today.
Did you try to look at how much these things cost?
I found. Well, first of all, everything was in French.
I didn't find any for sale.
Oh, you mean like on eBay?
Yeah.
No, it was nothing. This and French translates.
By the way, you're the main event this week. I'm going first.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
All right, you done eating on stream? Is it time?
No, we got 5 minutes. You're just used to us running so far behind.
I am. You're usually not out here till about now.
There's no reason to be out here that early.
Yeah, there is.
I'm tired. I was up till 2:30 in the morning.
Aaron, the word is lazy.
No, I will beat you down. Do you know how much crap I had to carry up and down the stairs at Boats? What did you bring? Answer, nothing.
That's not true.
Did you touch the computers while you were there? Answer, no.
That's also not true.
You didn't touch the computers.
Yeah, I did. I touched 2 keyboards.
What did you do?
Fix things on the main machine.
That's not what I mean, and you know it. Classic computers doesn't mean go play Burger Time for 3 hours. It means we do what me and John were doing. We were all up in it. We were arm deep in classic computers. We were getting it done for the masses. And you were sitting on the couch watching your wife play Burger Time.
You almost said girlfriend. You know, we've been married for like 3 years, right?
I keep forgetting.
And we've been together for over a long time.
I know. And how she could pull that trick. She's got to be the most patient woman on earth.
She was giving it as well as she was taking it last night. My goodness, she was on fire.
Someone was giving her the business last night?
Well, they were throwing jabs, and she was...
Who was?
Huh? Oh, everybody. We were just playing around.
I can't believe that. Jabs. Jabs, you say?
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, they were jabs. That's my Brent.
What?
Yes, they were throwing jabs. I am well.
I honestly, I don't understand why that is so perplexing to you.
You're funny.
Okay, here. Ask me how I'm doing.
How you doing?
I'm doing good
That's-
now. We're just gonna
That's
go
it.
to the store.
That's right. Some kind of a jacked up Bobcat Goldway.
Whatever makes you happy, man. I'm here to please.
Well, you're failing miserably at that. I can tell you that right now.
No, not please me, not please you.
Oh, I got it. I think we're big enough on the screen. We don't need to go any bigger than that, do we?
Please, no. If anything,
We can make us
down.
monsters. Whoa, look at this. We're in the Tron world.
Dude, we're already monsters.
We're in the Tron world. This setup's so much easier to set up. This thing, the green screen was down, if you'll recall. You know what I did? I didn't do any of this stuff I had before. I took those 4 big hooks and went, and that was done. It took like 2 seconds. I'm like, oh, so much better.
And, you know, I have a machine
Well done.
that puts eyelets into things.
I don't need it.
I'm just throwing
You do?
it out
Do
there.
you? Well, it wouldn't
At
hurt.
work.
It wouldn't hurt.
At work.
Okay, I'll let you take this to work with you. Bring this back with the ladder. Bring them both back. Park them right here. Ladder. I could have gotten a ladder, but you told me you could get us a ladder. So this week, there better be some ladder action. Look, I'm poking. Hey, listen, who am I? That's you from last week. I felt like we were like at the San Francisco earthquake when I watched the footage back 20 times. My God, you were emoting. You were using your hands to emote big time.
I talk with my hands. I'm like sign language, man. If you bind my hands, I just go mute.
That's clearly not true. I've never seen you go mute. I've known you for a while. You want to take a little test run here before we get it started?
Nah.
Hello, everyone. Sweet, good God Almighty. Lord have mercy. It's going to be awesome. What do you think?
I am well.
No. See, that's what's killing us right there. That's why we're not in the top 25 movers and shakers, because of that crap right there.
Wait, I thought we were.
No, we're not. We're nowhere.
Oh, I thought we were the indie influencers.
Listen, we are nowhere.
As a collective.
Last night, once again, Bo expostulated on how horrible we are. Yet again. I'm like, Bo, you've been trying to kill this thing. And you started. It was your idea, you dipstick. And he's like, oh, God. It gives no craps given. Let me see. Oh, yeah. I keep forgetting that we switch computers. That's all. Every time I do that, I'm like, oh, God, all of our data. God, it's gone. It's not gone.
Well, even if it was gone, it wouldn't be gone.
Well, let's see. One sweet good God Almighty. Lord have mercy. It's
Pretty
gonna be
quiet.
awesome. What do you think?
Yeah,
no. I don't hear anything.
See, that's what's.
I don't hear any. Oh, I know why.
That's why we're not in the top 25.
This crap every time. Every time it does it.
Wait, I thought we were.
No, we're not.
I thought we were the indie influence.
There we go. It works.
One sweet good God Almighty, Lord have mercy. It's gonna be awesome. What do you think?
There you go.
Oh,
That's how I'm
you
gonna
missed
do.
the best part.
That's how I'm gonna do the show this week. Just screaming stuff. My
Man,
God.
you don't have that much energy.
My God, King. You ready?
Oh,
What? I don't know what. I should have worn my red my beanie out here, my beret. Since this is a French type episode.
and you certainly embody the French.
Suckaboo. Hey, listen.
Yo,
I'm down with the French, my friend.
yeah, the French get a bad rap a lot of times.
Yes.
They say
Yes, they do.
They saved our hiney way back in the U.S. beginning.
No, they actually sold some of the U.S. to us.
Well, that too, but they fought side by side.
Well,
I mean,
be that as it may.
what? It is as it is.
Are you ready? Stop looking around for gimmicks and get ready. There's no gimmick this week. You don't have a toy or some wacky thing you can do. You just have to look at the camera. Go for it.
You're very mean.
Yeah, I know. You ready?
He's very mean.
Here we go. 3, 2. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a rapid-fire edition of ARG Presents. I am Amigo Aaron, joined by a man who now certainly isn't French. We're not sure where he's from. The Brent.
Thomson, you go for.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe the Himalayas, sort of like your game this week there.
Oh,
eh?
yeah. There you go.
So if you joined us last week, and last week was quite a week in terms of shows, when we did the Auric, a crazy computer from another land.
Yes.
We spun the wheel, we made the deal, and this week we're doing a crazy computer from another land.
We're gonna get known for these crazy computer lands.
It's Thomson Computer Week, Brent. Thomson. Let me tell you something. I knew 0% about the Thomson, and now I know 1% about the Thomson. Because this was not the easiest thing to research or find information about. It was no fun at all.
It was tough.
Now, let me ask you, and I know the answer to this. I know you don't know anything about the Thomson computers.
And that streak continues today.
Yeah, now, having learned the bare minimum to get by,
Yes.
your thoughts on Thomson computers, and specifically the ones we looked at were the MO5, MO6, MO7.
Right, that
area.
genre. This was definitely something that could and probably should have competed with the ZX Spectrum.
And did.
Yeah, it's on the par with that type of system, and I would say the games range probably the same spectrum as the Spectrum.
Get it? I see what you did there. So let's learn a little bit about. Let's all get up to speed, the bare minimum here with the Thomson computer line. So You've got Thomson releasing the MO5 in 1984. Now,
Actually, it's 05.
04, 84. What are you talking about?
No. The Thomson 05. The O is not a 0.
It's
an O.
And when does the Thomson come out? When's that one coming out? Dummy. So, anyway, Thomson produced a wide range of these 8-bit systems back in the 80s, and they were based on the 6809E CPU. Right now,
6809.
I had a heck of a time finding a ton of information, specifically sales figures.
They're not out there.
All I could find was that the Thomsons sold very well in France and sold next to nothing anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't even try to sell them outside of France for the most part. Now, I think they had a plan, a cunning plan, to eventually move outside of the interior of France, but I don't know if they ever actually did that to any great degree. I should mention that at the end of the run, Thomson actually released a 8088 based IBM compatible PC.
Really?
It's kind of interesting, yeah. So I thought that was kind of cool. So again, we're going to focus mostly on the MO5, which was released in '84, but basically rose through the market in '85. Built-in Microsoft Basic. Microsoft, you can see why they've got all the money.
Yeah.
They're in everything.
They touched everything, yeah.
This keyboard had a, as it's described, and the way it looked too, a calculator-style AZERTY keyboard, which is foreign to us, but it's a forein machine. So
yeah,
it makes sense.
I would say, yeah.
This had the old rubber keys,
yes,
that we've seen before. And again, ran on the Motorola 6809E. At a whopping 1 megahertz. That's all you need. That's all you need. The MO5 shipped with 32K of memory. I believe I read that you could actually move this thing into the a slightly more memory than that. And certainly the TO7, you absolutely could go up to 48K.
Right.
So these things can generate 320 by 200 pixels at 16 colors. It had 1-channel 5-octave sound, and which was used to a certain degree, at least in from what I heard. It had a cartridge slot, light pin connector. Got to have those light pins. Were going to be a big deal back in the day.
They certainly thought so.
Have you ever used a light pin?
I have. I used them back in school.
You don't use them now at your current job, do you?
No. I mean.
Do people use those now? Light pins?
Well, no. Now everything is the touch technology.
Yeah.
Same basic bear, but way more convenient and easy and accurate.
Okay. So, of course, this thing had joysticks. It had tape. It had tape interface. SCART video out. We never got SCART over here, unfortunately. It's funny because at the computer club last night, our buddy John from Charleston has a SCART connector hooked up to his Amiga, and then a doodad that converts SCART to HDMI, and then that going to his computer. Looks fabulous. And I happen to have a SCART connector for my Amiga, so I'm going to copy his gimmick. So
gimmick stealing.
There are a few of us over here that are going down the SCART path. I've always heard that SCART was the best way to go for pure graphic output on these older machines.
And apparently the Thomson thought so as well.
Yeah, that's right. Although apparently here recently, SCART has been kicked out of the TV sets, and you're not seeing it as much as you used to. So as I mentioned, the Thomson was a pretty popular machine in France. Now, they had a ton of models. Get this. I'm just going to buzz through a few of these.
Yeah, I saw this with some of the emulation. I was like, what?
So you've got the Thomson MO5E.
Yep.
All right. Then you've got, and it had 2 joystick ports and a parallel port keyboard. Then you got the Thomson TO7. This one was from 82 to 84, so this was like the predecessor of the 05. It had 24K of memory, and 16K of that was used by the video. But you could upgrade that one to 48K, as I mentioned before. It had an 8-color display, so the MO5, which we looked at, actually doubled up on the colors on that one.
Yes.
Then, no, that's not all. Then you've got the TO7/70. This could go up to from 64K to 128K and had a 16-color display. So the TO7/70 was seemingly better than the MO5 and not and way better than the T07, which was worse than the MO5. So
Yes.
the numbering is confusing on some of these. I didn't understand that one. Now that's the first generation. They came out with more of these. The second generation, you got your Thomson T09. That was that's also released in '85. It had 128K RAM and a 3.5-inch floppy. That's your floppy right there. And then you've got, now, here's your throwback, the Thomson MO5 NR. This was released at the same time as the Thomson MO, right? But it's a Thomson MO6 and MO5 casing.
Okay, I didn't realize that one.
Now,
All right.
according to they made this for schools over in France.
Oh, okay.
You know, and this is just the way it goes. You get the MO6 that came out in '86.
Yep.
It's got 128K RAM and a built-in tape deck. But keep in mind, in '85 they released a T09 that had a 3.5-inch floppy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they had SKUs all over the map.
This reminds me, it's like you got the Amiga 1000, the worst Amiga. Then you got the 500, then the 600, which is worse than the 1200. It's like, what are you doing? What's happening over here? What's going on? Can't we get these numbers right? And finally, and last, as we mentioned, the Thomson TO16 released in '87 was an actual IBM compatible PC. So I bet that's pretty quite a collector's item these days. Now,
that's a lot of SKUs. Can you imagine being someone in a department store trying to explain to someone the difference between all those computers?
Well, I mean, it's not like they'd all be out at the same time. So we got that.
Yeah, they kind of would be. 84 to 86, there were like 4 or 5 computers that wore the Thomson
You're right.
brand.
I mean, you're right. So now, but before we get into our actual games, well, I looked over the library.
It was pretty extensive.
It was there.
It was way larger than I thought it was going to be.
Okay. Well, I mean,
it had over 100 games.
The thing is, you would expect it to have a bunch of games if it was popular, but I mean, if the thing is, if it's being made basically effectively for one country,
yes,
it seems like you're going to limit the amount of people that are going to be putting out stuff for it.
Even
if it did sold in big numbers, if it sold in huge numbers, I guess you'd get more action. I narrowed my choices down, and I will say, I saw a few good games. There was a really nice looking racing game that was out. I think it was one of the last games released for the MO5, and it looked pretty good. It was almost like an outrun type game, and I almost picked that before I made my obvious proper decision with going with the one I went with. But there was the games range from CGA reject looking crap to some fairly impressive. Nothing like really blew my mind.
The graphics on the game you picked blew my mind.
That's true. But
and I was flipping through the games. So like I said, there's over 100 games for the system.
Oh, I'd say well over that. Yeah.
And I was flipping through a list of games, and my main thing that I noticed was the same thing you noticed. There are games that just look like garbage. I mean, like you couldn't tell what was on the screen using huge pixels. And then there were games that looked so refined, I had to double check to make sure I was still looking at the same computer.
I'm assuming that what you watch, and I watched a bunch of videos to try to pick something out. I guess these were games that were strewn across these various SKUs.
No. I actually went to a website dedicated to the MO5.
Really?
Yeah, and looked through their list of what they had for games, and they had screenshots for all the games. So some of this, granted, I'm judging off screenshots. Obviously, I didn't play 100 games from the MO5, but I noticed that there was a huge difference in quality. And it kind of makes sense. If you're working with such a small number of computers, you are certainly going to have people that are just spitting out games trying to make a buck. And then you're going to have those dedicated to the cause that are trying to put a little more quality into the games. But the range of quality was all over the map. And I was taken back by that.
You know, one thing we should also mention was there. Now, again, being a non-French speaking person.
That's correct.
I didn't see a lot of love being delved out to a lot of these games, to be honest with you. In fact, just finding footage for post production of both our games has proven to be. I mean, on the Thomson platform,
Yes.
has been difficult.
This was a very obscure computer.
Yeah, on YouTube, it's not well represented. To be honest
No.
with you, there's I believe Retro Man Cave did a special on the Thomson line. I think it was him, and then it was a while
LGR
back.
reviewed one game.
Yeah,
That from the Thomson that I found. There's just not a lot of stuff out there, and I think it is because, and what is out there, 90% of it's in French.
yeah, and
Which makes sense.
I usually go to YouTube to kind of gauge the popularity of something, and so I was surprised that this is, of all the games we've ever done on this show, this has got to be one of the more obscure, tough to find footage of games.
Yeah.
You know.
Now, with all that said, this was probably the easiest emulation week we've had in a long time.
We got real lucky, didn't we, on that?
Yeah, these have, and there were a lot of games that had this, Windows executables.
Yeah.
You run it, the game pops up in a window, you play the game.
It's funny, when I first got that, it's almost always death. when you get
Yes.
that. If you're familiar with the company that does this with the Amiga, where they compress these games into an executable file, that's what they've done here. Now, the company does a real extensive job with an interface and stuff that's really nice. These are not that extensive, as far as I can tell.
But I think they get the job done.
They're functional. And I will say, I actually ran an emulator at first, and I got it going, but this was way easier.
It's like I said, it's amazing to me that someone has translated these games and put them into executables, especially mine, because there is nothing out there for my game. It's like it doesn't even exist.
Yeah, you're right. It was tough to look up even on Google.
Yes.
You know, it's like, man, this is unbelievable. I'm amazed that we actually found those executables. That blew my mind.
Oh yeah, that was
I was like a miracle. I was like,
find.
thank you so
So
much.
if you do want to play the games that we present today, you can find the executables for them, run them, give them a go, give them a look.
Yeah.
So Aaron, I'm gonna say that you, with your winner, starts the match here.
Yeah.
What do you got for us?
It's funny. I don't feel like a winner, but let's go ahead and talk about Bob Winter. Now, Bob Winter was published and developed by Lorciels, I think is the way you pronounce it. And these guys have popped up for 2 weeks in a row, by the way. So I thought I'd just have a quick look at them. Now they were, and I hope I pronounced this right, Lorciels. And they dropped the S. They were just Lorciel. And they were a French video game company. They came out, they began life in '83. And they actually developed a lot of stuff over both systems. Or not both, but many systems. They were around for a while. They weren't around for a whole long time, but they published a ton of games.
They did.
I looked over some of the ones that they put out on the specifically on the Thomson. And they included a game called Turbo Cup, which is that's the racing game I was talking about. A game called, and I will say a lot of these came out. For example, Turbo Cup had an Amiga release. It had an Atari ST release, DOS. So these games were publishing these things across many platforms. That was sort of their MO. They had a game called Space Racer. They had a game called KYA. They had Mach 3, which I was hoping, but it wasn't. Then you've got Cobra, and so they've got lots of early games too in New York. These were later releases. They had a lot of releases, and they were pretty prolific, back in the day. And so I'm pretty sure that they wrote one of the two games we covered last week. I'm trying to figure which one it would have been. I can't remember off the top of my head. It might have been mine. They went bankrupt eventually, unfortunately. But they in the short time they were around, they did knock out 150 games. So they did pretty good. Yeah, that's a lot. So with that in mind, let's have a look at Bob Winter. I always want to call him Winter.
No, Winter.
Now, or if you look at the opening graphics, it's why Bob. It's Win Bobner. If you look at the title screen, they kind of wedged it Bob in there. I'm gonna, even before I get into this, that's what when I was looking at the lists of games and stuff. This game made no top lists. This game made no. This game was vaguely mentioned places, but was not getting a whole lot of dap. And so when I saw it wing by in a video playthrough, I'm like, my God, what is that? That looks remarkable. And so, much like a child that had 6 pound fitty, who's looking through the ZX Spectrum cartridges, the budget titles, I was wooed in by the picture on the back of the box.
Yeah.
You know, so anyway, this game came out in '87, and it's how to explain what this game is. It's a let's go with side-scrolling action game with beat 'em up elements. How about that? And that's really.
I think that's wrong, but okay.
Well, I'm trying here. The fellows that worked on this, you had Bernard Héroux. I'm working on these French accents here. He was responsible for a couple games, one on the Auric and one on the CPC. Heliot on the CPC and Psychiatric on the Auric. And you'll see this a lot. A lot of these guys dip their toes.
Yes.
So it's funny that these machines would come up
Came
2
up,
weeks in a
yeah.
row. The graphics were done by, and beautifully done, I might add, by a fellow named Bruno Masson.
Incredible graphics.
He did the graphics on another game I almost picked called Magnetic Tank. Did you see that one?
I did not see that one.
Quad, Mission, Mach 3, a Cobra 1 and 2, Turbo Cup, and Space Racer. So it's funny, of the 3 games I really wanted to cover, he did 2 of them graphically. So which explains why, because all 3 of those look good.
Yeah.
And the music was done by a fellow named Mikhail Winogradov, and he did a ton of stuff, but amongst the games he did were Mach 3 and Panzer Kickboxing, which we both love.
Yes. Yep.
And Load Runner and Turbo Cup. And these are all on various platforms. So this is another guy who worked around. So the gimmick in this is you are Bob Winter, sort of a all-around like 1930s tough guy. You know, like a smart, sexy, bad dude. This time around, he's going out to find proof of some sort of missing civilization. All right, that's the plan anyway, from what I could tell. Now, how does Bob accomplish this? Bob runs across the screen and tries to avoid deadly encounters. It's almost like a Dirk the Daring sort of affair. It's eerily similar in multiple ways.
I was thinking Dragon's Lair for the NES.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Now, the first thing that will strike you about this game is that it is in almost a monochrome, isn't it, Brent?
Yeah.
It's got very low color output, 4 color probably. It's real low. And it's almost and on other systems it's got ported to, it's even more greenish looking.
Yeah.
I should mention this got a port to the Amstrad CPC, the Amstrad PCW. I don't even know what that is.
We're gonna have to go down that lane sometime.
Now get this. This got a port to the Atari ST, the C64, and DOS. Now I looked at the DOS version of this. It is absolutely dreadful. I mean, it is. It looks like double garbage on DOS. It's all CGA. It's horrible.
Oh, no, you can't do that.
Well, you should be able to. It's 4 color, for God's sakes.
But I'm pretty sure, just knowing what I know of other computers like this, they went with the lower color palette to get smaller pixels.
Well, what you got here with this, what do you get for your money? What you get is something that is unbelievably gorgeous.
Yes.
I mean, that's what struck me. The backgrounds on this are off the charts.
Yeah.
The foregrounds look good.
Yeah.
It all has a very
it's pretty smooth.
A hand-drawn look to it.
Yep.
And I mean, graphically, this is at the top of the heap of this era.
Yeah.
You would be hard pressed to see better backgrounds in any game of that era. They are all monuments. They are various, and it looks from what I could tell. Now I will say before I get into the various backgrounds, I did not get to these backgrounds because this game is ludicrously, ridiculously difficult to control. But I watched some walkthroughs where I'm assuming these guys had cheat codes because they were just.
They did because their health didn't go down.
Because these guys.
I watched
but
the same thing you
the
watched.
backgrounds are gorgeous. You've got all sorts of. It looked like from all over the world. I think I saw like the London Bridge in there and the Statue of Liberty. But I mean, I don't know enough about France to know. I think there's like a smaller version of the Statue of Liberty in France. So it could have all been in France. I know Notre Dame was there. And I think the Eiffel Tower. It was beautiful. I mean, the backgrounds were just gorgeous. And this game is sort of a flip screen. And so what would happen is once you get to the end of the screen, the whole thing sort of scoots over to the next screen. And so it's not what I would call silky smooth, but it's not. It doesn't just blank the screen out and scoot over. It actually physically, the whole screen scrolls over one screen.
Yeah, the transitions are pretty well done for the era. For this kind of transition, especially considering how detailed the graphics in the background were to move those and still hold the image mostly together was pretty impressive.
I mean, I'm guessing what they did was they made a picture, right? Because this stuff doesn't move. They made a picture, and then when you go to the next screen, it just loads up the next picture, and then because really the only thing that's actually animated in this is your guy and whatever's going
and the foreground
and the stuff going on in front of him.
And to be fair, the sprites in this are large.
Yeah.
They are incredibly detailed.
Yeah.
They also look hand-drawn.
Yes, they do.
They look just as good as the background.
I agree. I absolutely agree. And your guy walks and runs in a smooth way. Bob Winter is this poor unfortunate guy. Never have I felt more sorry for a character than this. I'm serious. This guy, to be called Bob Winter, first of all, that's a lot of pressure. You know what I'm saying? It couldn't be called Bob Mediocre or Bob This guy's got to be Bob Winter. And Bob Winter, trust me, he was not Bob Winning when I was playing this game. He should have been called Bob Corpse because I was out there getting murdered.
Bob in the hole.
So, what your goal is to collect these keys, and I think you need 3 keys to infiltrate this temple. And then when you get to the temple, it becomes like an intelligence contest.
Yeah.
Right, which I tried to look at what this thing was going on. I even tried to watch it on multiple systems, and I'm still not sure about these questions that they were popping up here.
Well,
did you look at the questions?
Yeah, they're actually logic questions. It's
not my cup of tea.
Asked about sequences. It gives you a set of numbers to plug into a sequence. That's one of the puzzles. Another one of the puzzles is it plays 5 tunes, 5 notes, and you have to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to put the notes. To play the notes back.
It's old Simon.
Well, the difficulty of it though is you don't know what key goes to what note, so you have to work off the pitches of what was played to figure out what was there. It had a couple trivia questions, which I couldn't read because they were in French.
Yeah. You got way more out of that than I did. I was sitting there looking at that stuff like, my God. I even went and watched the Amstrad version to get their questions. And still, the way it scrolls by, it's not the easiest thing to read.
It's not. It's poorly done. It's like it's on one of those LED scrolling sign displays.
It's exactly what it looks like. Like the stock market.
And the background that it's on is beautiful and really well done.
Except for that weird gyrating idol in the upper right corner.
It's okay too. But the part where the message is that you're trying to answer the questions for is 1 line tall. And it scrolls very quickly. And you have to figure out what it wants and figure out the actual answer to what the question is. It's very difficult. It's a very odd thing to put in the game. Yeah. Now, story-wise, I understand why they did it, but
I would go so far as to say it's wacky.
Yes.
Or even goofy. It's goofy. I will say it's the one time in this game where Bob's not getting murdered. Because to get to this temple, Bob has to go through literal hell on earth. For example, you start off and it's sort of like almost like a desert. There's not much going on behind you. And then you kind of walk forward and then this background start firing up. And I walked maybe 3 steps, and I was like, let's have a look here. And instantly, right in the back of my head, dagger that went about a foot off screen. You'll notice that there is no time for dawdling in Bob Winter. You've got to go because someone off screen has got an unlimited arsenal that they just chuck crap at you.
Daggers and bouncy balls.
Daggers, bouncy. Yeah, the bouncy balls. Is there something behind that?
They hurt real bad when they hit you. And Bob has a great fall down, ouch, I'm in pain animation.
And you'll see it a lot.
Yes, you will.
In fact, it's funny because in the opening, this should have been a telltale sign. In the opening of this, This music's playing. It's like 30s music, and Bob Winter walks across the top of his own credits and trips and falls down. Not good.
Yeah.
It's like they were like, here you go. So as Bob goes across these various screens, and I believe this thing's about 19 or 20 screens in it, a total. That's what I read. And
okay. Yeah.
So you've got to avoid about 1 million, and I'm not even getting into the humans yet. These are just obstacles that are just laying around. You've got, like Brent said, like stones or balls that come at you. You've got Donkey Kong plays a part as he rolls barrels at this poor guy. There are areas on the screen that can just be like, I thought they were quicksand.
Yeah, I think that's what they're supposed to be.
Or real loose soil that you basically, poor Bob sinks. We didn't jump over him. There's also bees that come out.
Yeah.
And of course, like I said, flying daggers. Then you've also got a couple of, actually got 3 human opponents that will come up in scenes that were, I guess, sort of similar to, say, like a Prince of Persia. As you roll around, there's like a boxing guy.
There's a boxer.
Yeah. And then you've got
a kickboxer.
And it's savate. It's what that is. It's the French art of kickboxing.
Okay.
It's called savate.
Sounds good.
And the savate art said, so when you get to these people,
wait, you got to talk about the last human. You're saving it. Okay.
So you've got 2 choices, really. You don't really only have one choice.
You have one choice.
But you can just kind of run past these guys.
Oh, yeah, you have to.
Which is sort of funny. Oh, no, you could fight them. Your guy literally turns into one of them, and you fight them.
Well, you're missing a very key element.
All right, what am I missing?
To turn into whatever the person you're fighting, to morph into their sprite and being able to do their maneuvers, you have to pick up the corresponding item.
Right.
And the item, sometimes it's on the next screen over.
It's
sometimes it's 12 screens over.
Pick it, and so you have to. And by the way, did you ever get the item to turn
No.
into them? I didn't either.
No.
But you once you get said item, you actually can. And I don't think you're actually morphing. I think what you're doing is just basically like Bob's.
You're mimicking.
Bob's putting on his boxing gear, or Bob's putting on his savate attire, and then of course the last guy, dude with gun.
Yeah.
So, although you can pick up a gun, so you
Yes.
got that going for you. But the shootouts with this man with gun were always hilarious because it often involved both guys dying.
Yep.
In fact, I don't think I ever saw anyone get past the gun guy without getting killed. So what does this mean? It sounds awesome. Lots of obstacles, lots of weapons, some different types of fighting like a la Karateka or Prince of Persia.
And when you defeat the humans, you obtain their key.
Yeah,
To
you
unlock
have to
the
beat
temple
them.
quiz.
That's where you get your 3 keys. So what this means is this can't be played. I tried to do anything at this game, and I sucked. I fell in water or quicksand. I got stung by bees. I got hit with daggers and barrels. Jumping and moving in this game, it's unbelievably difficult and weird.
Yeah.
This is the classic example of when you've got something and you blow it.
Yep.
And they blew it, brother.
Yep.
If it had taken some of the elements of your game and just stuck them in this game, we'd have been laughing. Because then you'd had something fun. Because the elements of this game that work, they work great. Right? The
graphics.
Even the mystery and stuff, even the adventure portion is
Yep.
neat. And the graphics are neat. Bob looks good. It's got some pretty okay music. I mean, all things considered, it's okay. It's got a good look to it, and it's stylish. All right?
Well, what music there is.
Right. It's a stylish game. I mean, the opening screen I thought was really nice looking, where it shows the credits and stuff.
Yeah, but then the game, there's no music in the actual game that I was able to hear.
It's like the answer. Someone said, someone just played Flashback, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you think those are comp? We're gonna really take you down." And they get wacky. And if you think about this, Flashback and Another World, which these also have these kind of nuttier, they're not as nutty as these, but they have these nutty controls and Panzer Kickboxing. These games are all from France.
Huh.
Think about it. I don't know if I'm getting anywhere, but wacky controls and made in France. I
think you're confusing, at least in this case, wacky with just bad.
Yeah. I mean, I can't think of a worse control system. And what really bothers me on this is you didn't need to make it weird.
You did.
You need a guy to jump, like ducking for the knife. Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck. And something else that happens is this stuff will fire, as I mentioned, it'll fire right beside the edge of the screen.
Yeah.
Dude, you've got no chance to do anything.
And
barrels too.
And you have health. It isn't an instant kill, but you might as well not have health because some of the screens are so full of stuff. And the pits are instant death. And the pits were what I could never get past. I could never successfully jump over one of the quicksand pits. And that was it. I couldn't advance any farther in the game because there isn't a jump. There isn't a jump. Jump is his stride in running.
Yeah, he has no leaping ability.
No.
None.
He has vertical.
Remember Doggy last week?
Yeah, yeah.
What was that game called again?
Doggy.
That's right. Doggy could jump like a mile. And this guy is the exact opposite of Doggy. He can't leap. For a guy called Bob Winter.
No, he's a loser.
He must be in leg braces. I mean, he's horrible.
He skips leg day every day.
Every day. Typical musclehead. I hope he worked on cardio because he's definitely worked on squats because he's getting up and down a lot. I will say I read this and I was like, I didn't see this when I played it. There's apparently when this thing was ported to the PC, it was one of the very first games that supported EGA, according to the wiki on this.
Huh.
And they did that for the obvious, because I'll tell you, I saw the CJ version of this. It was just like this, except it looked like it was like we drew it. I mean, it was god awful.
I can imagine.
It was horrible. So I guess what I'm saying is, to summarize, not my favorite game at all. It's much like everything else. I couldn't find any reviews on this, except I found one on. I found someone who had done this game on My Abandonware, and they gave it a sparkling 5 out of 5. But I'm not going to go with that. And I didn't want to use reviews from other machines. Although I will say I looked at the DOS and the Amstrad version.
Amstrad looks
and
just as
Amstrad
good.
looked exactly the same to me. It had good sound as well. The Amstrad is a very capable machine.
Absolutely.
But sadly, this one had everything it needed to be interesting and fun, except for the interesting and fun parts.
Yeah.
There was the controls left the building.
While you get the user review out, I will give my review. I agree.
I'm glad
this game was absolute trash.
Yeah, I was going to say, feel free to jump in there and give us your full dissertation, but I think we pretty much summed it up. So our resident reviewer, our good buddy, our dear friend, Graham W. Vepke, writes in. We subjected Graham to this one, I'm afraid.
Yes.
There are no winners with this game.
That's correct.
I couldn't get Bob to win at anything. After plugging in the joystick, he still wouldn't duck. He wouldn't move fast, and he wouldn't throw punches against the Kung Fu guy, Savat. The animations looked okay, but there was no sound. There is no, I mean, the openings, the musical part at the beginning is good, but the rest of it's crap, the lemon, chiffon, and purple was an interesting color choice here. I gave up on this game. I hope you had more success than me. No.
Nope.
4 out of 10. That's a very gracious review from Graham. Gracious Graham, we're going to call him.
Yeah, because this game doesn't deserve a 4.
I will say I don't have a problem with the color choices, just because I think it gave it sort of a painting flair to it.
No,
Yeah.
the visuals in this game were
It reminds me of something like someone took a pencil and drew everything, and it's that's sort of what they were going for, and it worked. So let's move on. I will say I didn't even consider your game, all right, because it looked so stupid. And so I thought, my God. And it was, of course, when I saw what you picked, I thought, man, what an idiot, as I often do. And so let's hear, with that sparkling introduction, let's hear about your game.
Well,
tell the people.
We've had the Urban Yeti.
Yeah.
And you loved that game so much.
No.
I thought, we need to get the Yeti back into the Yeti environment. And I picked Yeti.
Yes, you did. So tell us about Yeti.
Yeti. Well,
this is not an Urban Yeti, is it?
No. This Yeti is in his element, and he is pissed. Yes. All right, let's go. Same publisher as your game. Came out in 1984. This actually came.
Is this the same publisher? No, it is. I'll be darned.
Came out in 1984. This was authored by a guy named Pascal Peller. Mm-hmm. It looks to be a one-man show. At least he's the only man that gets credit for it. So I'm going to say he did everything.
He's the only man you need on this one.
This got released several times over. It got released as its own standalone game for the MO5 on a tape. It got released as a double tape
Why the double?
It got released with a game called Pulsar 2.
So like a compilation.
Right.
Okay.
One was on one side, one was on the other side. Pulsar 2 was a shooter game, sort of like Blood Money or Cobra, that kind of vein. And Yeti, of course, is a platformer of sorts. So it came out that way. And
Super Cobra is what you meant.
Yes, sorry. And then it also came out on the 107 on a floppy disk.
Okay. So that one had the 3.5-inch floppy.
Yeah. So this game got a lot of published opportunities. So obviously, it hadn't been doing something right. This is the translated blurb from the game. A game of arcades that is already talking a lot about it. Everything is graphics, action, music, and stress. I don't know why they think stress is a good thing to have in your game, but it is.
It's good.
Thanks to these many paintings, you will not get tired of this game. An abominable snowman will do everything to prevent you from delivering a girl he holds captive. Rescuing the girl. Of course, this is all translated from French.
I love this. This is the best thing you've ever done. Keep going.
And as this software is completely crazy, do not be surprised to meet unusual fruits or even goats, to name a few, written 100% in machine and sound language to have at all cost.
I like it.
And I agree. This is something to have at all cost.
Yeah. You do run into some unusual fruits.
You do. You, unfortunately, in this game, do not play as the Yeti. You play against the Yeti.
That's instantly appealed to me. I don't want to play as that guy. I've already made that mistake.
You play as an unnamed hero, or at least that I could find in English translations, on a mission to rescue your girlfriend atop the mountain.
He's a mountain climber guy.
Yeah. And apparently your girlfriend is very hungry because you can't complete the level without gathering all the fruit that's on the level to also deliver to her.
This was quite a surprise to me as I went to the first level the first time.
So, level 1 of this game, the Yeti is high atop his mountain, throwing snowballs down at you.
Rolling them.
Yeah, well, throwing and rolling. Throwing and then rolling. Trying to prevent you from getting to your woman at the top.
Does the woman have a name?
I could not find an English translation that revealed her name.
Does she have a French name?
Let's
call her Yvette.
All right. So you are tasked to gathering all the fruit for Yvette and getting that fruit up to her so she can continue the trek down the mountain. As you go, apparently some kind fellows went before you and set up ladders on this mountain. It's a very green mountain to assist you in your climb to the top.
That's the way they do it in like Everest and stuff. They've got that crap smashed in the side.
You got to thank the Sherpas for getting there before you and setting all this stuff up.
And they really took care of you on the ladders.
They do. They're
and elevators and vines and the Sherpas went crazy up there.
Don't spoil the big surprise.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So you're climbing up the mountain, you're gathering your fruits, and you get to your girl. And then apparently she gets lost again. And you go to the second stage. Well, the Yeti's smart, man. He says, I'm going to recruit some friends. And what friends is better for mountain defense? Goats.
Yeah.
Mountain goats, man, those things can climb on anything.
And not just regular goats. These are ladder climbing goats.
They climb ladders.
They can climb up and down ladders.
They jump gaps, and they will hunt you down. They are hungry for man flesh.
Yes, they are. Yeah, they absolutely.
So stage 2, you're mostly navigating ladders down the mountain to re-rescue your girl and avoid the goats that have been employed by the Yeti.
Yeah.
And of course, there are some fruits along the way that you have to gather. She's going to be hungry when you get there. Let's be considerate now. So you get to her the second time, and she gets lost again. So you got to go to stage 3.
Yeah.
And stage 3 is when the wacky gets turned up a notch.
Yeah, it is.
Because
I couldn't get past stage 3. I'm about to say I never got past stage 3.
Stage 3.
I didn't quite understand the elevator how it worked.
the goats are still employed. It's good
Oh,
to
yeah.
see. You don't want people losing their jobs.
There's one goat that just goes up and down these 2 ladders perpetually. This goat's a machine.
He's a guard goat.
He's
a guard goat.
Alright.
So he is sitting there guarding that area.
He's doing a good job.
And he guards the elevator, the flip elevator that you have to jump on and ride to a safety platform.
I couldn't master that elevator. I died on that 1,000,000 times.
No problem. I made it past the elevator for all of us.
Oh, good.
So you get past the elevator, and then the Yeti's taking matters into his own hands again. He's throwing snowballs down at you, and you have to climb up, maneuver all those. And then it appears that the Yeti has sneezed on a block, and his mucus is kind of going up and down, bouncing in the wind that you have to avoid.
I thought it was a giant, like, musher.
Well,
I thought it was like a machine or something.
it is definitely not a machine. It's a mucus musher.
How do you figure? Where do you get mucus out of that?
It is a slightly pink
Did you
colored
read that?
mucus. No, that's what it is.
Mucus?
It's-
That's gross.
No, it's what it is. It's either that or one of those big slug things.
I thought it was a gimmick where, like, maybe they were pounding ice down or something. They let the machine up there. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's.
You're talking about the thing
it
that goes.
moves like
brrr.
fluid.
Well, I'm just saying, mucus.
Anyway,
That's gross.
So you apparently your girl's not very hungry on this stage because you only have one cherry to pick up and deliver to her.
Yeah, she's been eating a ton of unusual fruit the whole time.
And then you go to stage 4. Stage 4 is where it all comes
I had
together.
to watch a video of stage 4, but what a stage. What's going on here? Explain this one to me.
Stage 4, first of all, again, like I said before, your girl's not too hungry, so all you have to do is get a strawberry. And this strawberry is the most out-of-the-way strawberry. It took me forever to figure out how to get this strawberry.
The fruit are cunningly placed.
They are.
Yeah,
They
to
are.
hose you.
The Yeti knows. They're all traps. And what better way to protect? The Yeti found some money for some more henchmen. And what did he bring to the party? Kangaroo.
Yeah.
Some people might tell you they're bunnies. They're not bunnies. They're man-sized. These are kangaroos.
I thought they were kangaroos too, but I mean they'd be huge bunnies.
Yeah. So these kangaroos
They're also brown.
just
so there's that.
continuously jump to their death in a hopes that you will smash into them and fall to your death as well. And all they basically do is literally they hop down the board and then jump off the side. So you've got the kangaroo to deal with. Plus, apparently you've got vines up in maybe this is more down towards the bottom, and you have to swing on the vines.
Could be ropes. Like
Jungle
ropes.
King style.
Yeah.
And the Yeti's still up there throwing snowballs. So you got obstacles all over the place. Tons of pickups, and it has great stage design. I love this game. I played it until I beat the loop. The loop was required for me to be, and it took me about 2 hours. One thing that's great about this game, you can play it 1-player, 2-player, or entertainment mode. And in the entertainment mode, it gives you unlimited lives. So you're just there to see how far you can get.
I found that out too late.
Oh,
I thought it was a demo.
No.
That's what I thought it was. I
No.
saw it. It's funny. I just hit it last night. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. So, Yeti, what did you think, Aaron? I obviously love the game. What did you think of it?
You know, we look at a lot of games, and of course I do a couple of this. I look at a lot of games every week, and we look at a lot of we've looked at a lot of crazy systems over the years, over the year or so. And I'll tell you, these are the moments, the very few moments that happen where you stop. And the guy that made this game, what'd you say his name was? Give this guy props, yo. He's awesome.
Pascal Peller.
That's right. Listen, when I loaded this thing up, I thought, look at this. It's a Donkey Kong total ripoff, all right? And it is. Don't get me wrong. But first of all, Donkey, if you're going to rip off something, rip off the best.
Yeah.
And secondly, the addition of the fruit is a huge...
The mandatory pickups.
The addition of having to get the fruit makes a huge difference in the amount of fun this game is. It really changes the dynamic of the game.
Yeah.
This game is somewhere between Donkey Kong and like Miner 2049er. In fact, some of the level designs reminded me, the second level in particular, reminded me of a Miner 2049er level. In Miner 2049er, you have to go everywhere. So that's too much.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong, there's nothing. This one is somewhere in the middle. Getting the fruit makes this a lot more fun. And I'll tell you, the level design in this is very clever.
Yes.
I watched the 4th level, and it looks insane. I can't wait to try it.
It's crazy. It is.
But they did a great job working with what they had. I know graphically, this is no great shakes by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
It's a simple game.
Yeah, the lack of animation when you climb ladders was really disappointing. Because your sprite, your guy looks pretty good. He's wearing a backpack.
Yeah.
He's got the hat on.
Yeah. Your woman doesn't look great. She looks,
She looks good enough.
Yeah.
But he when he runs, he moves. His hands go up and down. But not having animations going up and down ladders was a cop.
Now the game is not without flaw. Aside from what Brent said, negotiating the ladders is a
easy task.
No.
Use your diagonals.
You have to get used to it. All right. And this is it's funny how often ladder climbing in games gets on my nerves because it can be so a pain in the butt to get up. Now I did play this with the keyboard.
Oh yeah, that's the way to play it.
I think with a joystick, this is going to go right on the arcade machine because this has got arcade controls written all over it. I love this game. I just loved it. I'm a sucker for games like this, and I love Jumpman, I love Donkey Kong. I love games like this. Single-screen platform games are sort of my bag. I love different stages, and the stages are all varied and crazy. Like I said, the first level, you're going to see some Donkey Kong inspiration, influence in there.
Yeah.
They rip off chunks of the levels, but not the entire level. So to me, this is a little bit like Donkey Kong 2 that we had the ROM hack. It's not as hard, but it's just someone took the basic building blocks of Donkey Kong and just went crazy with them, and then added. The vines are a great add.
Yes.
The spring is cool. The enemies are wacky. I liked every bit of this game. It controlled great.
Yeah.
If you feel froggy, right? Go get one of these EXEs. This game's another one that was compressed into one Windows Run executable. And I know it looks goofy and ugly. Go give this thing a shot. You will be surprised at how much fun it is.
Yes.
I played the crap out of this game, to be honest with you. I wish if I had more time, I'd have played it more, but I had to fit my game in. And I spent a lot of time trying to negotiate that.
Falling in holes. Yeah.
This game's the exact opposite. This is the way that guy should have jumped in the first game.
Yeah.
Get some distance under you, son. You're Bob Winter, for God's sakes. This Sherpa's kicking your tail. I love this game. Bottom line, this is a must-play. Of all the games we play on this show, I'm not sure I've ever been quite so surprised. And it was right up there amongst my favorites. Of course, I don't want to glorify it too much. It's a Donkey Kong ripoff. It is what it is. It's a Donkey Kong ripoff, but at least they advanced it somewhat.
They took, you know what they did? They said, here's Donkey Kong. We want to add our spin on it. We want to make it our own thing, and they did.
Yeah.
I think
they being him.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think having the Yeti throw snowballs, that's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But collecting all the fruits, good. And like if you get to the top and you don't have all the fruits, your chick just won't respond to you.
Yeah.
She's like, I want more fruit.
Yeah. I see. I looked at it a different way. I thought since you're up in the Himalayas or whatever, your guy is hungry and he doesn't have the energy to.
Well, but then what? Explain how do you get to the girl and if you don't have all
get
the
to her,
fruit?
but he's so ragged and haggard that she doesn't know who he is. That's the way.
That's an interesting take.
That's the way I'm going to look at it.
But this game, the sound effects, the music, they're mostly beeps and boops.
Yeah.
But they're good enough. The graphics, they have some clipping. They're not great. They're not beautiful, but they're good enough.
The first level has no bottom.
A lot of the screens are like that.
That's bizarre.
But at the end of the day, this played fun. You got better as you played. And a little tip for all those that might check this out, you don't jump with momentum. So you can tap, tap, tap to the very edge of the platform, jump, and you still get your full distance. That's very important when you're trying to get the strawberry on the last stage, because that jump is incredibly difficult unless you tap, tap, tap to the edge of the edge of the platform and then jump.
Tappa, tappa, tappa.
That's right. If I'd have had Tappa Tappa Tappa, I'd have probably beat this thing in 45 minutes.
Let me ask you a question. As far as you know, did this get released on any other system?
There are many Yetis, but none are like this one. This is the only platform Donkey Kong Yeti game out there that I was able to find.
This is a one-system gig right here.
I believe so.
That's not normally in that company's MO. We have to go back and double-check that.
I looked for, like, there's a Yeti on Commodore 64, but it's a completely different game.
Well, I mean, it's a pretty obvious name, I guess, so. We love this one. So let's see what our resident reviewer, Graham W. Vebke, thinks. If I know Graham, I think he's going to probably dig it. What an interesting take on Donkey Kong clone. On a Donkey Kong clone. You control a guy trying to get his girlfriend, avoiding the snowball, sit down from the Yeti. It has little quirks that's made me laugh. You can't skip collecting the fruits. You must get them all or you can't save the girl. On the second level, there are jumping deer. See, those are goats, I think.
Oh, they're definitely goats.
But they climb ladders, too, which is quite unfair. I really like the cyclic audio sounds. Cyclic? Anyway.
Beep, beep, boop, beep.
Reminded me of an arpeggio at times, and the sprites and color scheme is pretty decent, too. Yep. Very little color clash. I like this game. 8 out of 10.
Yes. Yeah, I'll agree with all
Graham
that.
Graham gets it. So we had one winner and one loser. But one thing's for sure. When we spin the wheel, we're all winners. Let's spin this sucker.
We'll see.
All right, Brett, tell them what we added this week.
You didn't tell me.
Yes, I did. The Jupiter Ace.
Oh, yeah.
You demanded it, and we put it on here because we haven't had enough weird computers from other countries.
That's true. You know what? I'm ready for something a little tamer. I'm ready for something a little more...
Wait, you haven't got your fill of weird European computers?
I have. And you know what? Before we spin this, I enjoyed my trip down the MO5 lane. There wasn't a lot of information out there to be had, but...
And by the way, nothing on eBay for any of the computers.
Oh, no.
I looked. I couldn't find jack squat. I looked.
Yeah.
I should have looked on eBay France.
Actually, that might have actually worked. But I enjoyed what I played, and I am going, especially since the games are so easy with the executables to get out there and play, I'm going to take a look at some more of these things.
Oh,
just
yeah.
on my own time.
That really does make it a lot easier. I do strongly recommend everyone gives Yeti a shot. So
Absolutely.
you redeemed yourself for Urban Yeti.
Oh, they're both good.
No, Urban Yeti's the worst thing I've ever seen. Spin this sucker. Come on, Jupiter Ace. Make it 3 in a row. All right, what do we got there, Brent? And the winner is...
Bizarro spin time.
Okay, you know what that means. Spin it again.
For those that don't know, Bizarro spin, we spin again. What it lands on, we will pick each other's game to review. I mean, we both play both, but now we're picking each other's game, so we might not get the one we want.
We never get the one we want, actually. All right, here we go. If we Bizarro again, do we just go back?
I don't think that would be an
All
issue.
right, what do you got? The winner is?
GameCube.
GameCube. Okay, wow. It's amazing. We've never covered this.
I know what you're playing.
Oh, you've already got one picked out for me, do you?
Absolutely.
Oh, what a punk. So
I'm picking what you would have played or what I would have played if I got a pick.
Well, GameCube should be interesting. That's one of the more modern machines we play. We're going from
Absolutely.
one side of the coin to the other. Hey, just a reminder that ARG Presents is also available in podcast form.
Yes.
So consult your local podcatcher to pick us up. Listen to us on the go. Always a good time. We record every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are far more consistent than me and Boat due to the fact that
we are on the nose.
Because we don't have anything to do
There's
Sunday
no
mornings.
work, right. There's no
So it's a
work
little bit
getting in the
easier.
way.
We have a good chat going today. What do you got going in the chat room, Brent?
We got Duncan Styles, we got Picard, Mohawk Mall, Terror K. We had some new voices in here. Colin 409.
He's not new.
No, not him. ZZZ, although I think he was just
sleeping,
looking for the wrong things when he came in here. So pretty good run at chat.
A lot of these people from Computer Club last night, they got up early, just like we
crazy time. Hey, and also I want to do give a shout out to all the patrons out there that support this and the ZX Spectrum show and the Amiga show. Be looking for your call out for pie pieces for the Thanksgiving marathon here at ARG. Those should be coming to you relatively soon to get your suggestions. So if you're out there, you're a patron, and you want to see something put on the wheel that will get played during the marathon, be looking for that.
Something else I want to mention to our listeners and viewers, for those of you that remember, we ran a Decorate Our Arcade contest. It's been 5 months ago or something like that. And we have begun implementing your suggestions. As I behold upwards here, we're in the process of mounting the large artwork in here and start getting that going. So as soon as we get this stuff in a
That
nice
will probably also get revealed on the
presentable
Thanksgiving
state, it will be. That's right. We'll have it ready to go. Hopefully Brent will have his other little art project good to go then as well. So next week, GameCube, Brent. It should be interesting. Bizarro GameCube. So we will leave it there. Adios and so long to France and the UK. And thank you for your crazy computers. And I'm sure we'll be back that way again somewhere down the line. And so, until next week with GameCube, I bid you adieu. That's it. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Your game was awesome.
It was a lot of fun.
I loved it. You finally didn't suck. Well done.
I saw your game and I saw my game just screenshot wise.
Yeah.
I thought, oh my gosh, what have I done?
Well,
And then, by the way, we need to get. We're gonna have to get a light back here.
Why?
Because look.
Oh, no one cares about that.
No. It was really obvious in your game. With your screen, it depends on the screenshot, but it will just take a little light and then that'll go away.
I'm not getting nothing. Screw it.
But yeah, when I saw your game and my game, just from the screenshots, I thought, what have I picked? And then I played it, and I was like, what did you pick? So, good fun.
Well, the truth of the matter is, I was going to pick that Turbo Cup game or Magnetic Tank. Those both look really interesting. But I got wooed. The graphics on this look beautiful, and they are. They were hand-drawn. I thought, my God, I just couldn't believe what I was seeing.
I like Yetis.
And it was a trick, you know. I think someone put a lot of work into that game, and I'm sure they were disappointed when they saw the outcome from a running and jumping. And the thing is, when I've looked for people that talk to this game, that's the one thing they always mention. It's like,
yes.
this is the problem.
Well, and it wasn't just us, and it wasn't just the emulation. It was universally an issue. Even the walkthrough that I watched, who was cheating, had unlimited health, and still died, by the way, to the gunslinger. Even they struggled.
Everyone gets killed by the gunslinger. I don't know. You can get past it.
Yeah, even they struggled, and it was just, it was unfortunate. It was unfortunate.
Yeah, you win some, you lose some. Still, and the Thomson, I thank God for those EXEs. I'll tell you that. That made, because I was emulating this was going to be difficult. And the Jupiter 8, we have to look into that and see if we can actually do anything with it.
Do we have is GameCube out there for emulation?
I've got a GameCube.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you can emulate GameCube on the Wii. You can play GameCube games on the Wii.
All right, we might have to.
GameCube's emulated.
I guess
I think
it really
Dolphin
depends on what
doesn't
you
Dolphin emulate GameCube? I'm pretty sure it does. So.
I mean, we've played tons of GameCube. At least I have.
I've got a GameCube, which I will set right here on the table next week. The GameCube, I've got one. I've never hooked it up because they're pointless. The Wii plays all the GameCube stuff. So what's the point? I don't know why people buy the GameCube. It's baffling to me.
For the Game Boy add-on.
The Wii will play all that stuff too.
No. Where you can.
I've got the Game Boy add-on.
Yeah.
I don't have the disc for it.
That is probably the
you can
main
hack
reason.
You can hack a GameCube to play backed up mini discs if you wanted to. I just don't care enough to do that.
Oh yeah.
So there you go.
Dolphin does GameCube as well as we. Yes, thank you, Tara.
Yeah, I told you.
We figured.
Tara was there last night. I remember him from.
When were the Nokia in-game Engage? Didn't we do Engage? Have we done Engage?
I don't remember. I can look.
Oh no! Engage is unemulatable.
That's right. You wanted to do it.
I wanted to do Engage, but it's unemulatable. I looked into it. And the few Engage, it's just Engage. GAGE. I looked into it, Picard, because I wanted to do it because there's a few games on there I want to play, but the emulation support for it died about a decade ago, and no one's picked it back up.
There are a few systems that sort of fell through the cracks. Like another one's the original Xbox. Like it has the horrible emulation. Like there's nothing going. It's funny for a machine that can emulate everything. Nothing seems to be able to emulate it.
And it's just a computer.
Yeah, it is. That always struck me as odd. You know, that's one of the good advantages of having a proper Xbox. You can play the Xbox games. Well, you ready to put this one to bed?
Yeah, I think we have bored these people for long enough.
Yeah, thanks for showing up, everybody. I think we dropped out for a brief second.
We did. It looks like we dropped once.
And did we have to start the stream over?
I think the stream survived.
Okay.
I don't see a second instance of it. So.
All right, guys. Thanks for hooking up with us. Next week, GameCube. That should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it should be interesting.
So you have to give me your pick pretty early.
Yeah, I will.
All right. All right, guys. I will see you guys next week. Adios.
Later, guys.